Do you love caramel apples? Check this recipe out. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, welcome to Cooking with Chef Rich. Do you love caramel and apples? Do you also like crème brûlée? This is a cross between caramel apples and crème brûlée. Basically, it's actually a flan, which is made with a caramel sauce. And very often you serve apples with caramel. And what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be adding some cinnamon. And so it's an apple cinnamon crème caramel. Should be really delicious. I can't wait to try this recipe. So the first part of our crème caramel is we have to saute off some apples. I have 2 Gala apples that I've diced up fine. You can shred them, you can grate them. I just diced them. I have about 2 tablespoons of butter. So I'm gonna be dropping in the pan and we're gonna melt this. Get that melting. I have some cinnamon, some sugar, and some water. Basically, as soon as the butter's melted, I'm just gonna be adding all of this, stirring it occasionally on medium heat until the apples are tender. So we'll start with this and I'll show you what it looks like in a few minutes. Our butter's melted. I'm gonna add my apples to this. Now we're gonna add some sugar, some cinnamon, and some water. We give a really good mix. And this is just gonna saute on medium heat. I'm gonna stir it every minute or so until the apples are tender. So our apples are done cooking. We're going to start with our caramel sauce. I'm going to be putting a list of all the ingredients down below in the description. This is just a couple tablespoons of water that I'm adding to our pot, and I'm adding some regular sugar, and we're going to make a caramel sauce. So I'm going to be putting this on medium heat, and we're not going to be stirring this at all. We're just going to let it melt and let it keep going until it caramelizes, gets like a beautiful amber color, and it's probably going to take about 7 or 8 minutes. And I will show you what to do as soon as this is done. So while our caramel is going, we're gonna make the flan part of the dessert. So what I have here is some cream cheese, regular cream cheese, and I'm gonna be putting this in a mixer. And this has been sitting out for about half hour, 45 minutes to come up to room temperature, just so you know. We're gonna put this up to mix to soften it. And we didn't actually talk about our ingredients. So for the actual flan part of it, I have some condensed milk, some egg yolks, and some vanilla. And as I said, I'll be listing that down below. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna add just maybe 2 or 3 of these yolks. I'm actually doing a double recipe. I'll have a single recipe, which will make 8 of these when finished. So we're gonna turn this on. One of the most important parts about this is scraping this down, because otherwise you're going to have clumps. So after each thing that you add, you definitely want to scrape it down, and scrape it down very, very well. Trying to get it all over your mixer like I just did. Looking at our sugar, and while most of it melted, there's still actually a big clump over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break that up. You're not really supposed to stir this, but in the early stages you can kind of get away with it. Now I'm going to put this back on and let it go loose. We're going to add our vanilla. And we're going to add our condensed milk. We're going to put this up to mix. And we're good to go. And our caramel will be ready in a few minutes, and we'll continue. So our caramel is done. You can see it's a beautiful amber golden brown. And it's very important that you don't stick a spoon in there, because a spoon will make it crystallize and not work. I'll be putting just a little bit in each one. Okay, we've got a lot, but that's all right. Oh, by the way, I did actually spray these with cooking spray, just so you're aware of that. And that looks pretty good. Alrighty. I've mentioned this before. If caramel sticks to your pan, the best way to get that off is we're just going to put a little bit of water in here, bring it up to a boil, and that should come right off. Just helpful hint. All right, now we're going to go on to our flan mixture. Now, even though I tried my best to scrape down the bowl. You will notice that it is a bit clumpy and all the clumps floated to the top. You can use it as is, but because I try to be somewhat of a perfectionist, I'm gonna just strain it out a little bit and then we'll get rid of all the clumps. I think this happened last time I made this too. The last time I did a regular flan, it was a little clumpy as well. We're gonna pour these in, probably about 2/3 of the way full. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna whip some egg whites. Basically, anytime you whip egg whites, you wanna make sure everything is clean, dry. You wanna use either glass or metal. Plastic, like a plastic container, will have grease on the outside sometimes, and that will all prohibit the egg whites from whipping fully. So we're gonna put this up to whip. Also, room temperature egg whites whip better than cold egg whites. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna slowly add the sugar while this is whisking. Our egg whites are done whipping. And if you want to take a look at them, you can see that they're nice and stiff peak. So we're going to take these out and put it in a bowl. We're going to take our butter, take some butter, softened, unsalted. As I said, that'll be in the description down below, and sugar. Flat beater, I'm going to put this up to beat. Do a quick scrape down. Now we're going to add some egg yolks, 2 at a time. Add the rest of the egg yolks. To this we are adding some self-rising flour. Now this is a little bit of a mix. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to add our apple mixture to this. Apples taste really good. With the cinnamon in it, tastes delicious. Alrighty. So the truth, I'm not really loving this recipe that I chose, but we'll try to make it work anyway. It just seems whoever wrote it didn't have a clue about cooking. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about half of this, or about 2/3 of it. I'm supposed to fold this into here. However, if you look at this, this is really thick, and there's no way that that is ever going to fold into these egg whites. So I took about 1/3 of my egg whites, and now I'm just going to take a whisk. This is not ideal for folding, but what it should do is loosen up my mixture so that I can at least fold the rest of it in. Things have to be relatively same consistency to fold. Alrighty, so the next thing we have to do is we have to put this on top of here without pushing it down. So I'm going to try to flatten it a little bit, which isn't going to work either, I see. And put some on top, nice and round. Somehow or another, I don't think anyone's ever going to see this video. Anyway, we're going to do this with all of them, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Actually, I'm going to put this in a water bath and bake it, I'm going to guess, for about an hour. I'm going to pour some water in here, and I'll show you what it looks like when we come out. See you shortly. Our apple crème caramel is finished, finally. And so this recipe, I was following somebody else's recipe. Overall, it was a nightmare following the recipe. It actually tastes very good, but I'm not so sure that I would actually try to make it again just because it was so difficult for what it is. Anyway, let me take a taste of it. The truth of the matter is I've already had one, but we'll try it in front of you too. I love desserts, so for me to have 2 or 3 desserts, not a problem. Cheers. It's really, 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 really good. So if you move this, first off, you see how creamy the flan is. And this is like a cake. The apple part of it, the apple part down here, is kind of like a cake. It's a little crunchy, tastes nice and appley, actually tastes really good. Nice layer of caramel. So I'd bake them in this aluminum pans. I wouldn't ever try to bake these in an aluminum pan again. Like I make crème caramel in these all the time and it works fine. With these, it's very, very hard to get out. Like normally I run a knife around the edges and it comes out very easy. This was a nightmare to get out. So If you do decide to try this, do it in like a ceramic ramekin and just serve it in a ramekin. You know, put some berries on top, you know, like serve it like this in a ramekin and put, you know, just garnish it with some cinnamon and, you know, maybe a vanilla sauce and you'll be good to go, or caramel sauce. So that's one thing I would definitely do. Like I said, I'm not sure that I'd actually try it again, but it does taste really good. The concept of it is really nice. So anyway, if you've liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please hit the subscription button and the bell. Tell me what type of desserts you like to make. And if you want, you can tell me what type of desserts have been a nightmare for you to make. And I will see you in the next video. Be safe, everyone. Bye-bye.